Let's see. When we got there, I actually lived with 5 other people. We were 4 guys and 2 girls, which really wasn't that bad. The girls had their own loft, their own apartment, pretty much within the house. The house was 4 guys, 2 lived in their own bedrooms, and then the 2 of us, we had our own rooms. There was a couple of them that lived about 11 in one room, but in 11 in one apartment. We went there a couple of times. That wasn't fun. It was pretty dirty and nasty, but that's what you're going to get when you have 12 college students living in one place. Class style was very laid back. It was more oriented towards you learning material or learning about the culture. It wasn't focused on, how can I say this? It wasn't focused on grades or making sure that you did all these things. It was more or less showing you what the people were about, helping you to experience the culture of Italy, and letting you know what is expected of you culturally from the American side, switching over to the Italian side, and just certain differences you're going to have, whether it's etiquette from eating or just being with people or going to certain shops and how you speak to people. Different ideas that we take advantage of over here is a big custom for them over there, and that was mostly what our Italian culture class was about, was intermingling between the 2 societies and 2 different cultures meeting at once. It wasn't as hard as the classes really helped out. The Italian culture class really helped us understand how to navigate all those people together.
Like that.
All right, travel-wise, once we got there was a lot of different already trips that we were going to go with in class. Let's say we went to the main locales like Pisa and Lucca and Rome, and the main places like that. We went with a big group. And going with a big group, it gets a little frustrating, but you get to learn a lot more than you would go if you would go by yourself. If you would go just you and a couple of people, you wouldn't learn as much, and you probably wouldn't see as much about the places you were going. So when we went to Rome, it was a big group, and everybody was together. You have tour guides that already paid for it, and everything was already taken care of for you when you got there, so you didn't have to do a lot of planning. When we did go by ourselves, and we went to Paris by ourselves, and we also went to Cinque Terre, which they'll probably tell you not to go to the last, but you probably want to go before, because it's really beautiful, and it's pretty inexpensive compared to some of the other places, the beaches and stuff like that. There was another beach that we went to probably the second weekend we were there, which was Miraggio, and it was a sand beach, but the water wasn't as pretty as some of the other places we were. Okay, the best advice I could probably give you is when you're going, look at some of the places before you leave here, to look at some of the places you might want to go, and look at the AIFS stuff that they have on some of the trips that they already have set up for you. Can go on the weekend, they'll have all those trips dedicated for you. The best thing to do is look into that stuff before you go there and see that I might want to do this, and kind of figure out where you would go, setting up hostels. Start looking into things about hostels and stuff like that, because it's relatively inexpensive once you're there to go to a hostel. If you and 4 or 5 other people want to go, it helps out to know certain places you would like to go once you're there. I would say the best time we had was when we went to Cinque Terre, and the thing was, I went meet everybody there, but it was so beautiful while we were there, and it was also our last weekend there before we went to do everything. And when we got back from Cinque Terre, we also had St. John the Baptist Day, it's pretty much their Mardi Gras, which was awesome for us because there was a lot of outdoor vendors selling food. There was a lot of live music everywhere, and the culture of it was almost the same as you could say Mardi Gras here, but it wasn't as much of the drunken buffoonery as we have, but it was much more community-based. Every little different venue, every little neighborhood had their own booths, and it was very oriented for that neighborhood. It was really something different in each little place you went. Whether you were on one side of the Orno or the other, it really depended on where you were, and that was the music they were playing, that was the food they were serving, and all the different artisans that were there, the different things they made on one side to the other were from plates to sculptures and things like that. And it was really good to just walk around the whole time, especially since it was the last weekend we were there. Everybody knew how to maneuver around the city, and it really helped out to have that at the end of the trip. Personally, the whole trip brought me a greater understanding of how small we really live in our own little worlds, and getting outside and seeing how other people live, and their lifestyle is way slowed down, and you can tell the people there are a lot more peaceful, and it's really busy over here, and it's not like that. And I wasn't expecting it to be at that slow of a pace, even though as students, as we're there, we're very fast-paced, and we get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go to classes and do all this. They don't get up late. They get up late. 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock, they're just starting to mosey around and do that. And we're not used to that. We're used to being in such a fast-paced life. It's just different to look at it and really appreciate a different way of living, and how you can still have a good life and not live this upbeat life that we do live. It helped everything out. A different perspective. It really helped me towards my degree, because all the credits that I went for, I had 9 credits, and it's almost a whole semester, one more. And you look at that, and it was probably the only time in my life I'm ever going to be able to live in another country for that long a period of time. You might be able to go for like a week or 2 weeks, but you'll never be able to engulf that much information and see that much of a culture at a 6-week period of time, and really understand what's going on in that period. Like you would, especially right now, you can absorb so much more and enjoy it more now than you would any other time in your life. It was definitely worth the money, and if I had the money again, I would do it again this semester. I just don't have to. I spent everything to do it last time. If you're on the brink of going, if you have the money, if you can figure out a way to get the money, go. Because no matter what, you're probably not going to be able to do this again. There's probably no way, unless you hit the lottery or you marry somebody rich, you're going to be able to do something along these lines again. Not many people have that opportunity to do that, and if you have that opportunity in college with this much freedom, you almost have to do it. It's almost necessary.